Data centers are the new investment criteria for real estate right now in 2026. Or do we go back in and do traditional multifamily? What is most advantageous? What should you be paying attention to? Because all I hear all the time is the buzz about data centers, data centers, data centers, data centers. And one of the things that we started doing right around 2019 is we started looking at warehouse space. Industrial warehouse space was one of the most advantageous areas to be investing in real estate back in 2018, 19, 20, 21, 22, and even today. But does that mean that the other sectors of real estate are dead and you shouldn't be paying attention to multifamily and other sectors of real estate? Let's go over the details of data centers and what it takes to actually construct a data center, whether you can go in and actually utilize an existing building to put a data center in and retrofit it to be able to take the loads that the data center needs as far as electricity and weight. And then let's talk about what it takes to build a new data center. And then let's also talk about the commercial real estate sector and warehouse alone without the data center component and multifamily. Let's do a cross comparison to see what the best investment is in real estate today. Hey everybody, Jerome Maldonado. I've been buying land and I've been building for almost 3 decades. And one of the things I've always looked for trends. And the reason why is because after the 2008 recession, we hyper-focused on retail. And because we're focusing on office and retail as the most dominant area of investment for real estate and also for ground up construction, I landed up putting myself in a very compromising position in 2009 when the magnitude of the 2008 recession started showing its true colors. And so I want to make sure that you don't put yourself in a position where you almost lose or lose completely what you've invested in and the work that you've put in, and more so the time that you've put in to being able to go out and put something together. Now, data centers is the buzz in the world. And everybody's sitting back going, okay, I've got to build data centers. I've got to be a part of an investment in data centers. And I want to simply explain to you what's involved in data centers, because I myself have done research since about 2019 on data centers and the viability of data centers. And they are a very advantageous class of real estate and the number one class of real estate overall in 2026. But is it the number one class of real estate you should be paying attention to is the big question. Now, some of the things that you have to consider. I always like adaptive reuse. And adaptive reuse is just going in and finding an old property and can I retrofit it? Can I buy it for such a price that I can't build it for the price that I can buy it and have a facility that is equal to or greater than the quality of what I would build otherwise? And so when I go in and I'm looking at just warehouse space, can I just turn a regular warehouse space into a data center? Well, we're going to need a few things. So the cooling system is number one. Okay, so we go in and we're talking about data centers. Number one, the cooling system. One server stack produces the equivalence of the same heat as one space heater in a room. So there's a lot of heat discharge on just one stack of one server. So when you have 20,000 square feet of data center space, which is the average size of a data center being built today, they range from 20,000 to 100,000. So you need a property between 20,000 to 100,000 square feet is the average size. Now, there's mega data centers that are over 1 million square feet. And you could also do small ones with small stack servers that are 5,000 square feet. But on average, this right here nationwide is what's being built and what's being favored. Now, in there, you have to have a cooling system that's going to make sure that those server stacks are cool, because if you don't, they will fail. And so that is one of the number one attributes to a data center is the cooling system. So you can go in and build a data center, and maybe if you don't know what the build out requirements are going to be, you do know that you're going to have between 1,000 and 5,000 kilowatts of power that you're going to need for this data center. So the electricity is going to be very important. It's something that you have to get with your utility company and make sure that there's enough transformers and the grid can support the data center within the given area that you're actually going in and putting this data center. Because you have all of these servers inside the data centers, you got to make sure that one, you can run the servers, and two, you can cool the building. So you have two components that you have to make sure that you can go in and dedicate cooling systems for these actual data centers. Now, the weight of these servers are very, very heavy. And the reason why is because of all the batteries that are involved in the data centers and the actual server racks that you're actually putting in there. So you have to make sure that you have a thicker floor and your foundation is right. The problem with existing warehouses is you don't know what that floor is made of or the depth of that floor unless you core drill it. Now, it's going to be a shot in the dark. It can be something that you do during inspections, or you have to be able to go in and you have to be able to modify to accommodate the overall discharge of the weight of the servers to be able to make sure that the flooring system that's in there can go in and support it. Now, what you can do as an option for data centers is instead of going in and building a brand new data center, you can do a modular built data center. The modular built data centers are very similar to like refrigerator units. I once bought a building from Swanson Foods that I leased to Frito-Lay. And in fact, Frito-Lay had come to me and said, hey, Jerome, we really want a warehouse. Can you help us find a warehouse for distribution for our local box trucks so we can take them to every grocery store and every gas station in the local area? And I said, well, we can't find something for you because there's nothing available. We had already searched and devoured the market. And so when they came to us, I asked them, I said, look, if I bought a building for you, would you guys lease it from me? And they said, yes. So I went out and started looking for buildings that were for sale. Now, the only building we found was one from Swanson Foods that had a full refrigerator in it. And it was literally a warehouse building, and it was sleeved with the components that you needed for a refrigerator, including the condenser units to actually cool that actual freezer. It was a full building that was a freezer. Now, we had that disassembled. We went in, we made it back into a warehouse space for Frito-Lay. But this is the contrary. When we go in, we take a regular warehouse building and we can sleeve and with modular components be able to build out a data center within the interior component of an existing warehouse. So that's just a matter of price and checks and balances of due diligence to make sure you know what's going to be the best cost for conversion, or you go ground up. If you want to learn the exact strategy of how to buy the right piece of land in the right area to build a house, if you want to learn the exact strategy that I've been utilizing for almost 3 decades, then text me the word land at 505-560-0520. Let's go ground up. Let's buy land. Let's build houses, and let's start right now. Now, if you go ground up, you just get with your structural engineers. Because we don't have the actual engineering requirements that the data center is going to use specifically for your tenant, you either have to acquire a tenant in advance, which most lenders are going to require a 70% occupancy in order to get a loan. So once you know what that tenant is requiring, we just build it out on what's called a tenant improvement. We go in, we build out that data center with the specs that they need for the equipment they're putting in there. Or you can go in and build it out yourself. You go in and you build it out. Let's say it's a 20,000 square foot warehouse. We're going to need between 1,000 and 5,000 kilowatts. So we're going to make sure we have the power components, and everything we need to be able to make that data center successful. The cooling components, the chillers, and everything that goes in there. So there's some extra components to building out data centers. But is it more involved than building out multifamily is the big question, because now you have a couple restrooms, maybe a small office, and then this big giant warehouse that's just hosting servers, and a thicker slab, more dense insulation and ventilation so that you can discharge the heat and retain the cooling. But is multifamily harder to build? Well, let's talk about it. Because with multifamily now, you have multiple walls, structures, dwelling units, air conditioning units, electricity, separate panels, and you have all the logistics in one small apartment that you typically have in one single family residential dwelling. So when we talk about the cost to build out these facilities, let's compare it to multifamily. So multifamily on average ranges between $220 a square foot to $700 a square foot, depending on the product that you're building, the location, and the land acquisition. Now, we're building for sub $200 a square foot because we're building a fair market rate product. Even our luxury stuff is only hitting about $200 a square foot on overall build cost. But typically, we're building in markets that the land is fair market and it's not exponentially expensive. Now, the land is a big variable that you shouldn't pay more than 10 to 20% for either asset for as you go out and build a data center or an apartment complex. And that's based on the overall valuation of the property. Now, when we talk about data centers, it's a shell, but there is some components in there that do vary. So the average warehouse space, including the data center infrastructure, is going to range from $110 a square foot to $235 a square foot, which is substantially less than the overall median cost of building multifamily. So data centers still win in comparison to the overall cost to build versus multifamily, where multifamily still wins the award of more desirable for small investors and local investors because of the tangibility of them getting into these assets and the lack of information, knowledge, and wisdom to go out and build data centers. One of the biggest things is understanding that you can go in and you can build a data center, but the banks are going to require a 70% lease up prior to breaking ground and facilitating full approvals on your lending. So when you go in with multifamily, you can build it with zero occupancy, zero leases, but you don't get your interest reserve money, which is the money you utilize to service the debt while you're under construction until you reach a certain component of occupancy, and that certain component is typically 70% or greater to be able to get your interest reserve money back to protect the bank and make sure that that asset can perform on its own 2 feet. Now, once you go in and you start building a data center, you're closing on both the land, the construction lending, the tenant improvement, and the lease all in one day, multiple different closings and multiple different documents and contracts, but all one sitting in closing to ensure that you can buy the land, build the product, facilitate the lease, and know the tenant improvement that you're actually taking down all at one time. Now, you can go in solo if you have cash and build it without those components, but you do have a large risk variable on who is your tenant. Is it going to meet the needs, desires, and expectations of the tenant that's coming into that building? And to be able to nip that in the butt, to be able to have a strategic partnership and alignment with somebody who's actually building the infrastructure for the data center itself, not the building, just the data center itself, is crucial in knowing exactly what you're going to build. And that's the variable component that most people don't take into consideration. Put yourself in a position where you know what your variables are, engineer it correctly, and go in, build data centers strategically with logic. Now, as I sit here and I evaluate it, both are great investments. The question is, have you done the research to better understand what the requirements are to be able to build a successful data center? And do you have the brokers aligned to be able to fulfill the lending requirements to pre-lease that building with data centers that are in need of the facility size that you're constructing versus the multifamily component of building out a simple multifamily market rate product that's vastly needed nationwide? Easier to find the land, more accessible, but yet, is it as viable? The biggest thing is putting yourself in a position for success. Let's go out and buy land and let's build data centers, but let's do the research first on what that demographical area, the tenants, and the need is in your specific backyard. And let's buy land, let's build multifamily, and let's again do the exact same thing. Find out who your market tenant is, what product is needed, and what's going to perform the best in your backyard. For more content just like this, to learn the investment strategies of ground-up construction in real estate, click and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And until next time, go out and compound your success.